not a thing. I remember I told my grandma I was going to therapy. I'm like, Granny, I'm in therapy once a week. And she looked at me like, girl, what? Are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm not okay. You're not okay either. Nobody's really okay. Welcome to Brown Girls Need Healing Too, the podcast where we dive deep into the journey of healing, transformation, and radical self love. I'm Kiana, and I'm here to help you break free from trauma, reconnect with your inner peace, and step boldly into the life you deserve. This is your space to feel seen, heard, and supported as we explore the tools, stories, and practices that will help you reclaim your power and rewrite your story. Because healing isn't just for some of us, it's for all of us. And brown girls need healing too. What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay, you guys, this is our very first episode, and you have no idea how excited I am to even put this out. And you have no idea what things I had to overcome to put this out, all of the limiting beliefs I had, all of my fears. And you know what? I decided to say, fuck it. I want this, but I don't need it. So my goal is to get a episode out at least every week, but you guys know life be lifing. So the main thing about this is I'm designing it to be something that's fun for me, that's expansive. And the minute it starts feeling contracting, I'm just not going to do it, or I'm just going to have to change the way that things are going. But just to give you some background on like what the hell is happening in my life. If you aren't familiar with it, I started a program. It's called Manifestation Babe Academy by Catherine Zinkina. And for those of you who don't know, she teaches every and anything there is to know about manifesting, like the right way, not the 369 method, not the TikTok method, but like the real literal quantum physics, esoteric way of manifesting, and it's been working. And so prior to me starting this podcast, I had been going through a lot of like they call it the dark night of the soul. Like 2024 was a fucking depressing ass year for me. Like it was so fucking sad. But I learned so much about myself, and about who I am, and the person that I am today on Wednesday, December 18th is not the person that I was at the beginning of the year. Like I don't even care about the same things, whatever. But I have been on a healing journey, and the person that you are listening to today is the healed version of Kiana. And so, what I'm bringing to this podcast, if you decide to take this journey with me, is healing. A lot of us have been through childhood traumas. A lot of us have been through traumas in relationships and love and work and life with ourselves. And we're our own worst enemy. Like you're your arch nemesis, and people don't realize that the problem kind of starts with you. And I'm not saying problem as in bad, like it starts with you. And so this podcast is really designed to help people look inwards in order to change their life and change their reality. So, I want to talk about the importance of healing and why it's important, especially for women of color. So, we have grown up with these generational curses that literally keep us in a fight, flight, or freeze mode. Like we are literally working, grinding, trying to get moments of peace. But overall, we're not happy. Like we're not happy unless we have things. We're not happy unless we're with people. We're not happy unless we have titles. And that is not true happiness. So, what healing does and why it's extremely important is because healing allows you to prune off the things that no longer serve you in order to live a life of fulfillment that doesn't require anything or anyone or any place in order to be happy. And I don't know about you, but like in Black families, therapy is not a thing. Like, it is not a thing. I remember I told my grandma I was going to therapy. I'm like, Granny, I'm in therapy once a week. And she looked at me like, "Girl, what? Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm not okay. You're not okay either. Nobody's really okay. Nobody in our family is okay." But yeah, so that's, that's the generational curse. I consider a generational curse that is passed down from generation to generation. Black people are used to struggling. Black people don't like to ask for help because why? Either one, they don't get it, or two, it comes with a price tag. And so people suffer in silence. And this is why it's critical to one, if you're a generational curse breaker, you've got to be the first person to go to therapy and show people that therapy actually helps. And there's nothing wrong with going to therapy. So, for example, um, like I said, I've been in therapy for the past 4 or 5 months. However, prior to me going to therapy, like with an actual psychologist, I went through hypnotherapy, and I ended up there because I had stifling anxiety, like really, really bad anxiety. And I just noticed it getting worse and worse. I was in the military, I was in law enforcement, and I just remember like having my second son, having Grant, and just every night I'd be like paranoid that somebody's going to break into our house and kill us. I'd just be paranoid that people are following me home. I couldn't even have normal interactions with people because I'm always paranoid that they have ill intent, against me. And so I felt like I was in a mental prison, like hell. I was in a mental hell. I was in hell on earth. And I just was not happy. And I knew that it was only going to get worse if I didn't seek help. And so hypnotherapy literally gave me the tools that I needed to open the door to that prison and just realize that like every thought you think isn't true. And you know how fucking powerful that is? Do you know how long I've been with my brain? You know how long you've been with your brain thinking that the thoughts that you think are real and they're all factual, and like, oh, you've got some type of intuition. I've got intuition. I follow my gut. My gut knows things. My gut knows this person is a bad person. My gut knows this. My gut knows that. It's not necessarily true. Every thought that you think isn't necessarily a thought that serves you. It's not necessarily the truth. And so that's where I ended up because, with my anxiety, I was thinking negative thoughts, and then those negative thoughts would spiral into more negative thoughts. And so that's what I'm saying. Healing is extremely crucial, and people don't realize how trauma can manifest in your day to day life. Like, I've talked to so many people, and they're like, oh, I'm healed. I've moved on from it. It no longer, whatever. And I found that it's not actually the case. Like, people are struggling and they don't realize it. People have trust issues because of their trauma. People, um, self isolate, self sabotage. People treat their body wrong because of unhealed trauma. Like, healing trauma isn't saying, oh, this happened to me and I'm okay with it. That's not healing trauma at all. And that's what people think healing is. Healing trauma is acknowledging that part of you in its entirety, meaning like the shame that you felt, the guilt, the anger, the resentment, all of those emotions, acknowledging all of those emotions and understanding that that is a part of you that created you to, that was created to protect you at one point, and it continued to be carried with you into this next lifetime or into, your adulthood, and it's still there, but you're pushing it down, you're abandoning it, and you're acting like it's not there, which is causing it to act up. So you have issues maintaining relationships with family, with friends. You have issues holding down a job. That was me. Uh, and so, yeah, like, okay, so let me just tell you a story. And it took me going through therapy to realize that I was self sabotaging in this way. But part of it is, me looking for the best job for me, but another part of it that I didn't realize was I when I was at a job and something happened, I felt like everybody was talking about me. Like I just felt like nobody liked me. You know, I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like I was an inconvenience. And so what I realized going through therapy is like I quit jobs because I felt like I wasn't good enough. And working through this with my therapist, it was crazy because you're able to see that I was able to see a pattern and really understand that my core program, my core wound of not feeling good enough resurfaced. So anytime anyone did anything that triggered that feeling of not feeling good enough, I would just quit. And so another reason why healing trauma is important. So, if you're listening to this podcast, I want you to set an intention to really understand yourself. This is looking inward. I really want you to sit with yourself and ask yourself like what's my core wound? And everyone has a core wound. Everyone has a core wound. This looks like not feeling good enough, um, not feeling worthy, nobody likes me, um people only use me for what they want and then they discard me. I'll never have friends. I'll never find love. I'll never be worthy of love. Things like that. So, really sit with yourself and discover what your core wound is because as we progress through this podcast, we are going to unravel that and heal it so that you know that you're good enough, so that you know people want to be around you, that what you have to say is valuable, that who you are is enough. You are enough. So, I will see you in the next episode. Cheers to our very first episode. I'm so happy, so excited. This freaking lights me up. And I'm just excited to be on the journey with you guys. So I'll see you in the next episode.